On Hydaelyn, a vibrant planet blessed by the light of the crystal, lies the realm of Eorzea. Embraced by gods and forged by heroes, Eorzeans live within cycles of prosperous astral and disastrous umbral eras. And it is immediately after the events of the 7th umbral era that our story takes place. Beckoned by the Mother Crystal, the source of all life, the realm's champions must rise up to deliver the land from an eternity of darkness. Adventurers from all walks of life answered the call to protect Eorzea from the impending threat. Famous amongst these heroes is Estinien Wyrmblood, the Azure Dragoon, and bearer of the Eye of Nidhogg. An Elzen from the secluded nation of Ishgard, he is regarded as the second coming of Haldreth, the first Azure Dragoon. Driven by pride and his own brand of justice, he stands against the dragons with the power of the Eye of Nidhogg. Hello everybody and welcome to the GKaiser Age. My name is Lucian GKaiser, and today we're going to be reviewing Square Enix's Final Fantasy XIV Bring Arts action figure of Estinien Wyrmblood, one of my favorite characters from Final Fantasy XIV, A Realm Reborn and Heavensward. So let's get started by taking a quick look at the actual box that his figure comes in. And as you can see, the artwork on the cover of the box is fantastic. I absolutely love it. And you can see some very nice pictures of the figure and various poses on the back and some of the accessories that it comes with. And then on the side is that very nice little speech that I gave earlier today about Final Fantasy XIV's world and a little bit about Estinien himself. But this is a fantastic box and I absolutely love the design of it. Now let's go ahead and get started with taking a look at the figure of Estinien himself. As you can see, he does come with a Guy Bolge, his of course lance, and the lance that is the artifact weapon for dragoons themselves. A very ancient relic of a weapon that is still wielded by Estinien in such a primal, powerful form of damage and destruction. And I really love how well they replicated every detail on it. Some very nice highlights. Now it does come with an optional part. You have it where the wings are deployed on the lance itself, and then it also comes with an optional part where the wings are more folded close together, as you can see here. And you can easily swap them out by just popping off this part and putting the other one in place. So I appreciate that they added that in there as well. One of the other accessories that they added in too, which I find very unique, is they have this miniature bust of Estinien with an alternate head. So you can take the head with the actual Dragoon helmet off and replace it with this one that is of course a replica of his actual face. We do not get to see his face very often in the actual game itself, but I appreciate the fact that they added this in a nice bust that you can put the alternate head on when it's not being used. So very well done from Square Enix. And of course, one of the other accessories that he comes with is the Eye of Nidhogg. The only downside that I have about this accessory is that it only comes with a hand for the right hand, so you don't get the option of having a left hand holding it. And I much prefer having him wield the Dragoon lance, his Guy Bolge, in his actual right hand, and then have the Nidhogg eye in the left hand so I could get some very cool poses with him. But still, it's very nice that they added this in and gave us the ability to swap out that hand with this one. And then of course you get a set of alternate hands for his figure. So you can see you get an open gripping hand, two closed fists, And of course, you know, the pole arm hands. So he's got another one that's already on there for his right hand, and then he's got the open grip for his left hand on there. So, and they come with a nice little stand to put those on. It does come with its own display stand, as you can see here. Now, the only problem I have with the display stand is that it is a little bit short for the figure itself. As you can see, it's not much higher, than Estinien himself. And so it makes it a little bit difficult to get more aerial style poses with him. It does come with an adapter here for his lance, so if you want to have the guy bulge attached to his back, you can actually slip this adapter on by taking the top part of the lance apart, and then of course putting it onto this and then attaching it to his back. Now for the stand, I actually have a Bandai Tamashii Nations Act 5 stand that I've been using for him, because as you can see, it's a good little bit taller and with a little bit more height than the other stand. So you can get those quite easily online. But let's go ahead and take a look at the figure itself and its posability. So to start with, we've got the head here. The head can move down that far. It can look up that far. We've got a nice rotation, 360 of course. And it's got a little bit of a bend at the lower neck there and the upper neck too. So you get some nice posability with the head. Now comes the difficult part, and that's the arms. So at the wrist, you have a nice ball joint, and it allows from a nice range of motion, and it's very stiff and very sturdy. At the elbow, you also have a ball joint as well. No double bend. That's a little disappointing, but still very good range of motion. The shoulder is also on a ball joint, but the problem is the pauldrons. The pauldrons are attached very directly to the shoulder, and so it only allows you about that much upper movement. You can't actually get too much more upper movement out of it unless you bend the pauldron out and then you push the arm far out. So you're not going to be able to get any dynamic, really high raised arm poses. And then of course it can swing back that far. So that is a bit of a letdown. It does make some limitations on the arm posability, especially when you're wielding something as large as the Gaia Bolge. For the chest area, there's an upper chest, as you can see there, rotating on a ball joint. It does have a bit of a crunch, a little bit of a back bend, not too much though. And then you of course have the waist here. Now the waist part right here has its own little individual ball joint. It's a little stiff, but I like that because it helps the figure maintain its poses. But you can rotate it almost a full 360. You could probably do a full 360, but I don't recommend doing that too often. The poor man probably doesn't appreciate having his waist bent that way. The legs are on ball joints as well, and you get a nice bit of free range motion, as you can see there. It can do a decent split, nothing too crazy, but once again, that's fine for this figure. There is no upper or mid-thigh swivel. He does have a double bend though in the knee, as you can see here. So we do get a double bend in the knee. That's appreciated. And I love all the details on here. He's got a lot of sharp parts, so you do want to be very careful because a lot of these spikes, especially on the back part here, are extremely sharp. So this is definitely not a toy for a child to have. And then let's go ahead and go down to the feet here. That's the last bit of the posability. And those are on a ball joint as well. Got a nice side to side. And a pivot. go. All in all, his posability, aside from the shoulders, is very well done. There's plenty of articulation everywhere on the figure. More than enough for you to get him in some really dynamic and great poses. He stands fairly well with the lance and everything. But I do definitely recommend to have him on a display stand because his feet are fairly small. So they can make posing and keeping him in a steady pose a little bit difficult. So let's go ahead and use his display stand here. And we'll wrap that around his waist. And there we go. And that will keep him upright in pretty much any pose that you may do with him. And as you can see, the display base does have multiple holes to where you can peg in different areas. So depending on what kind of pose you have him in, you can peg it in different ways to distribute the weight evenly onto the base stand. But I absolutely love this figure. There's a lot of great detail in it, and it's just fantastic looking. And definitely one I can recommend picking up. You can get it, of course, on the Square Enix store. You can also get it at Hobby Link Japan. That's where I had this one because I pre-ordered it on there. Because their pre-orders actually get fulfilled half the time faster than the Square Enix ones. Here in the US at least. So I got this figure pretty quickly from them once it was released. But I absolutely love all the detail on it, and that's the last thing I want to discuss is just all the detailing that was done for this figure. As you can see on his armor, there's a lot of silver inlay, there's a lot of impressed details. And they managed to just nail every aspect of what makes the Dragoon armor look fantastic that he's wearing. And truly make him look like the Azure Dragoon straight from the game. So once again, if you definitely want to pick one of these up, definitely check out Hobby Link Japan or the Square Enix website, either one, as this figure is now readily available. And I definitely also recommend the Encyclopedia Eorzea 1 and Encyclopedia Eorzea 2. I have reviews of both of those on my channel as well. If you want to check those out at the end of the video, I'll make sure to list those at the end. But once again, I want to thank you for joining me here in the GKaiser age. My name is Lucian GKaiser. If you enjoyed this review and you want to see more reviews of figures like this, of anime, gaming, and entertainment media, definitely check out more of the videos on my channel. Subscribe, like, leave a comment if you're interested in getting this figure or any other Square Enix figures that you'd like me to review with us on this channel. Also, check out my Facebook page and my Twitter page. There are plenty of exciting updates and everything that I'll be posting on there in the next few days, along with notifications of new videos that I've got up. So once again, thank you for joining me here in the GKaiser age. This is Lucian GKaiser signing out until the next battle against the dragons.